All right, so Jennifer says, also month 2 of private practice and 10 clients, and I'm realizing I might grow organically with my network, and I'm not wanting to be a group practice anytime soon. I'm still an LLPC, and I'm just not currently passionate about being a group owner. Super curious about adding either a free or paid for group of audio meditations to my website that people can listen to, very specific meditations geared to my niche, who are trying to find peace with food and body, peace with food and body / adopting the steps of intuitive eating / body trust. So I think that's a great question, Jennifer. There's a lot of folks that want to get into the growth phase, but they don't want a group practice. So let's talk about alternatives to that where you can build some passive income. So one of the things we want to ask ourselves is, before someone comes to work with Jennifer, so she already has 10 clients and she is going to keep growing organically. Before somebody comes there, what are some things that people would want? And so before someone says, it's so bad that I really need to work with Jennifer, I recognize that Jennifer could help me get to that next level, what we want to do is we might want to then start asking, what are some intro things? So that might be blog posts, that might be infographics that lead into some sort of e-course. So you might use Teachable. You might go onto other people's podcasts, talk about what you're doing, and drive them back there. So instead of just looking locally, you may look more nationally. And so for products that are before or after counseling, you can offer these things that are on the front end or the back end. And so then what are the things that people need to support them before they would ever come to counseling? So we want to focus on those things, and there's always product options there. And then you may want to do some intensives where, if people find out about you nationally and you're not going to cross state lines with counseling, maybe you do an intensive or a group intensive where 6 people come in and they learn from you. And then after counseling, what are the things they would need as support? So that might be an intuitive eating Facebook group that's a membership community. And so maybe it's, $17 a month, and you do a couple kind of live coaching sessions, Q&A, some webinars, similar model to Next Level Practice, where then it creates some kind of automated income that's more than your typical rate. And so we figure, okay, if you were doing, 2 webinars a month, maybe you do a Q&A, and you monitor a Facebook group and send some emails, we're looking at maybe 5 hours a month. And so if we say for 5 hours, say you're charging $125 per counseling session times 5 hours, that's $625 a month we'd want to have come in for those 5 hours eventually. And so if we divide that by, say, $17 an hour, that means we need to have 37 people that are in that group. And so if you can start to get more of an audience that's more national, where we go beyond just the counseling practice, then you can build some of those things that would be weekend intensives that people fly in for, and then an ongoing community afterward. Or it might be before they ever come, you're kind of giving them some support in a way that's not therapeutic, but it's also really helpful. And so when you build out those sorts of things, then we ask the question, okay, that's what we want to build. Well, how do we then grow an audience? Well, some really typical ways to grow an audience is to have a very clear email opt-in. And so you might have a 9-step course, 9-email course on intuitive eating that people opt into for free. You build some trust, maybe you have some videos in there. It automatically goes to them once a week. And then maybe you go onto some podcasts, and maybe you respond to some Help a Reporters Out, so that your name is out there as an intuitive eating expert, and that you have this free 9-week email course that walks people through the basics of intuitive eating. So then you start to build an audience. Maybe you have 100 people or so that are on that. And then you want to reach out and say, what do you wish that I could offer? Where are you stuck? So they might say, oh, I wish we had a greater sense of community. Or I wish there were some small groups that we could just kind of talk in those small groups. Or I wish we had recipes, or I wish we had, about intuitive eating. What are the things that then those people would want? And so then it's the audience that's determining the product, rather than just saying, I'm going to put meditations on my website. So we want to build an audience around that before we put a lot of effort into those meditations. Now, those meditations, you may want to create those anyway. I would say that Gumroad is a great platform for that, Jennifer, where you can have all sorts of audio, handbooks, different things that you can sell on there. It's on their marketplace, and you can just link to that from your website. And it's really streamlined. And then you can also offer discounts for free for your clients. Hope that helped.